Hi, and welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating podcast. My name is Kristen Jones, and thank you so much for joining me this week. So, about 3 months ago, in my Facebook group, Breakthrough Emotional Eating, I introduced a new member guide. And this new member guide basically gave any new member who came in, I actually sent it to a bunch of past members, but also any new members who came into the group. Each of these members got a little guide and it gave them their first steps, gave them a couple of videos to watch, a handout to do, all the things. And so it kind of provided them their first steps if they were moving towards following my emotional eating and weight loss kind of program. And so it was amazing to be able to see so many new members jumping into the group, working the program, asking great questions, doing all the things. And it was amazing. I loved it. And I love seeing how much progress people have made and how much they're making on their own, doing all of the things on their own, listening to the podcasts and all the things, and then taking advantage of all the freebies that I give. So I thought that it would be really helpful if I was able to present what I view as the person who created this program, that what I feel are the 5 key things that you need to be focusing on in order to be successful if you are, taking advantage and using the breakthrough method. Now, for anybody who's listening to the podcast and they're like, breakthrough emotional eating, breakthrough method, what is it? What does all this mean? So, a little bit of background. So, I am a weight loss coach. I'm also a life coach, and I'm also an emotional eater. And so, I have struggled with my eating for, I don't know. I'm I don't even want to say it. Well, I'll say how old I am. I'm 54, and I have struggled with it since I was probably like, 7 or 8 years old. So 46, 47 years. And it wasn't until about 2.5 or 3 years ago that I was able to, through coming to life coaching and going through life coaching training and listening to podcasts and doing my own research and working with a life coach, was I able to figure out what I needed to do for myself to change my viewpoint about food, my viewpoint about myself, my ability to be able to communicate my emotions, to be able to keep my emotions my own and not take over other people's emotions, all those things. And so what I did was I kind of kind of created something for myself. And when I found how successful it was for me, I decided that I would share it with other people because it was the only thing. And I have been through 3 bouts of therapy and with 3 different therapists and have really tried to work on this on my own. And it wasn't until, again, working with a life coach that I was able to figure out what the piece was that was missing for me. And so, what I want to do is I want to try and share that. Try to share that with other people in my Facebook group, Breakthrough Emotional Eating, which is my free Facebook group. There's about 7,000 people, a little less than 7,000 people in that group. And then in my paid membership, for those people who are really ready to kind of take it to the next level and really dig deep into what's going on with their eating, with their emotions, with their life in general, all the things, because they're all intertwined and they're all interrelated. I also have the breakthrough membership. So I have 2 different groups that I run. And so, and these 2 groups kind of overlap on each other. And so the information that all of my members and my clients get is similar, but the depth at which we go into things is very different in the free membership group as opposed to the paid group, just because the paid group is smaller. It's able to be a little bit more concentrated and there's different elements there. But I wanted to share with everyone what I feel like the 5 key things are when it comes to working this program and getting your emotional eating under control, managing it, because I don't think you ever get rid of it, because I know I will never get rid of mine, but I have learned to manage it. And then losing weight, if losing weight is something that you need to be doing. So I wanted to go through today and present the 5 things that I feel are the most important that need to be focused on, that really need to be addressed when it comes to working this program and being really successful. Because I've been seeing people post in the group about, in the free group, about getting certain things and feeling really good. And then all of a sudden, something comes up and something kind of goes sideways. And one thing I will tell you when it comes to any kind of program, whatever it is that you're doing, when we have behaviors and we have habits that we have developed over the course of decades, and for most of us who are emotional eaters, we've been doing this for a long time, you've established some pretty significant ingrained habits, thought patterns, beliefs about yourself that are not going to go away without a fight. They are going to fight to stay with you because they think they're there to protect you. And so they are going to fight. They're going to keep, you're going to try and change your ways of thinking, and those thoughts are going to keep coming back. And I can promise you, you just have to be consistent, have patience, and give yourself time. Those 3 things are really, really important when it comes to knowing and accepting that this is not going to happen. That full recovery and never having any issues around food is not going to happen overnight. Will things change quickly when you start to make different thought processes and you start to make different choices? Absolutely. You will start to get more comfortable with yourself. You'll start to feel more comfortable around food. You'll start to be able to manage certain things, but it is not going to happen overnight. But you will feel changes and feel different from the beginning, from when you start doing this. So I know I have a bunch of members on. I always go live in my Facebook group, so a bunch of members on live, as well as a number of those members are clients. So anyone who has actively been doing the program and is working either in the membership or you're in the free group and you're following the things that I've presented to you in the new member guide, and you're doing those things. I would love to hear what are some of the things that that happen quickly that you realize, like, you feel better, and whether it's you feel better just about yourself in general, your outlook is different, you've lost a couple of pounds. I mean, what are the things that you've noticed when you've gotten into the group? Like, how is it different? How is it different than other things that you've done before? Because this program is really different, and I do want to make sure that people know that what you're going to look for, the 5 key things, are not what you would think when it comes to managing food and managing your emotional eating, and losing weight. The 5 things I'm going to tell you to look for and that are key are not going to be what you think. So let's go ahead and jump into that. So and these are not in any specific order. These are just the order that I happen to decide that I wanted to present them to you. So the first key that you need to look at to be successful is, and I gave each one of these names, so I'll have to explain them to you. So the first one is, it's called emotional eating for a reason. And the reason why I named this first thing that you need to look at that is because what we need to be focusing on when it comes to emotional eating is the emotion part. That's really what this is about. It is about you focusing on your emotions, your lack of feeling emotions, your lack of owning emotions, you ignoring them, you pushing them away, you not being comfortable, and you deciding that you don't want to feel that way, so you want to distract yourself with food. The food is just the conduit. That's the vehicle that you're using, but this is really about emotion. And so if you're going into working this program and you want to just focus on, well, what's my meal plan? And do I have enough protein in my meal plan? And how can I get from one meal to the next without getting really hungry? Oh, I'm going to drink all my water. All those things are important. And those are components, but that's not what you should be looking at. What you should be looking at is, how am I really looking at my emotions and how I actually feel about things? Do I actually allow myself to feel emotions? Do I blame my emotions on other people? Or do I forget that one of the things that's most important that I teach is that our emotions do not come from things that happen to us, and they do not come from other people. They come from our own thoughts. And understanding and accepting and embracing the power that you have in your own life with your own thoughts, and understanding what that means and what it looks like and how that translates into emotional eating. When you don't have control of your thoughts, when you let your thoughts get away from you, when you decide that you're gonna let your brain go off in all directions, that's when you get into trouble. That's when we turn to food. But food is not the thing we need to be controlling. The thing we need to be looking at and getting under control is our thoughts and our emotions. And so that is the first thing we need to look at. We need to remember, this is about emotion. This isn't about food. This is about emotion. All right. Then in fact, one of our mottos in the membership is that it's not about food, because anyone who's a member, any of my clients will tell you that when somebody asks me, like, I need to have a session with you, I need to talk to you about, I need to be coached on, like, I'm just not sticking to my meal plan, and I'm having a really hard time with that, and I just, I keep eating at night, or I'm keeping, and I never, ever ask them about their food. I don't ask them about what they're eating. I don't, because I don't care, because that's not the issue. The issue is what's coming before you're eating, what's coming why you're eating when you're not hungry. That's what I want to get at. What are you saying to yourself? And we'll talk about what you're saying to yourself too. So again, there's always that other layer, and that other layer is emotions and feelings. And that's what we need to be focusing on. All right. Number 2, second thing, stop making this a diet. Stop making this a diet. You will notice I never talk about this as being a diet. I don't even like to use that word. I will call this a program. I call this a course. It's I have a course, there's a course within my membership. I have, this is a program. This is a program to help you manage your emotional eating and lose weight if that's what you desire. But one of the keys is that this is not a diet. This is a way of eating. It's a way of life. It's a way that and from an ancestral standpoint, like, this is how people ate. People ate what they wanted to eat, what they could get their hands on, and then they stopped when they had enough food. Now, our way ancient, cavemen, they ate, they totally overindulged because they would gorge because they didn't know when their next meal was coming. Y'all, we know when our next meal is coming. We don't need to be doing that, but we do need to get back in touch with listening to our bodies. And that is what I teach people to do. There is no measurement. We don't measure things. We don't count calories. Y'all, if I hear people talk more and more about calories, it's going to drive me crazy. Do not make this a diet. It is not a diet. It is a way of looking at food differently. Food is just food. Food is not your emotional support dog. It's not your emotional crutch. It is food. And we have to start going way back to the basics of food is just something we eat. We don't need to diet. We just need to change how we view food, how we look at food, and why we're eating. If we're eating for a reason other than sustenance, then we've got a problem. Then we have to go, we end up overeating. Then we have to go on a diet, where we're not going to go on diets anymore because they don't work. That deprivation and restriction just does not work. So most of you, and because I do talk to most people, who come in, I communicate with the members all the time when they're coming in. And most people will say that they are chronic dieters. They've been dieting all their adult lives, and they know that it doesn't work because they've gained and lost the same 25, 30, 40, 70 pounds over and over. So they know they need something different. And that's what we are. We're different here. This is different. We look at the emotional piece. This isn't just about food. It's not just about calories in, calories out. It's not about exercise. Y'all know that I never talk about exercise. mean, I'm a fitness instructor and I don't talk about exercise because it's not relevant in this group, because this is about what's behind all of those things. And so again, second thing, got to stop making it about being a diet. We have to focus on, this is a lifestyle, and this is a way of eating that works for your body, that allows your body to be back into control. But part of that also involves getting your head together as well. Number one. The number one comes in that. All right. Number 3. This is my favorite. Number 3 is, you absolutely must focus on eating what you love. Now, this kind of coincides with number 2, which is stop making this a diet, because we all know, I'm not going to lie. Today, I had Brussels sprouts at lunchtime. Y'all, I do not like Brussels sprouts. I hate them. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a bad test. This is a bad test for me. Because I mean, I'm not against vegetables. I'm not against salads. I'm not against any of that. But if that's not what I want to be eating, I will, if I eat it, I am going to want to eat something else afterwards, because I am not going to be satisfied. I'm going to feel like I'm depriving myself. I'm going to feel like I'm restricting myself. And that causes that restrict binge cycle to just continue. So we have to be really, really aware of eating what you love. And eating what you love scares the bejesus out of people. It scares people to death. Like, oh my gosh, like I could eat anything I want. That's crazy. Well, I will tell you, I'm going to tell you a story. So about it's almost, oh my gosh, it's almost 20 years now. Almost 20 years ago. I first kind of was introduced to this whole idea of like eating what you love and just eating 3 meals a day, which is what my program is based on. 3 meals a day, no snacking. You just eat what you want to eat. And when you get to be satisfied, you stop eating. That's pretty much in a nutshell. That's the premise right there. And I was introduced to that because I watched my father do that. That's what my father did. My father never weighed more than 5 pounds in either direction my entire life. And I've watched him eat exactly what he wanted. He would eat anything my mom cooked. He'd have cookies. He'd have, beer and and popcorn and peanuts and all sorts of things. But he listened to his body. And when he wasn't hungry, he didn't eat. And I tried that after I watched him one day make this amazing sandwich, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so good. I should really try to do that. And I tried to do it, and it like I couldn't do it. And I know now why I couldn't do it. And it was because I didn't have the thought work behind me. I didn't understand how my brain worked. I didn't understand that my brain was still in that diet mode. I was still in number 2, which I wanted to make every day a diet day. And so I just couldn't get out of that thought cycle. I couldn't embrace eating what I actually loved because I was too afraid, because I was too scared to do that. And I know many of you feel that way, that you feel like you're too scared. Like, I can't eat what I want. Oh my gosh, I'll eat everything. Well, that's kind of the secret. The secret is that if you eat what you love, you then are satisfying yourself emotionally, and you don't have to eat anymore because nothing's on restriction. So you know that you don't have to eat it all today because you can eat it tomorrow or the next day or the next day or the next day. That's the cool part. So, but eating what you love is kind of at the base of that. And that's kind of the base level. And we have to make sure that we're doing that. It's so easy to start falling into that. Oh, I'll have a salad. And when you really don't want to have a salad. Now, if you like salad, I am all for eating salad. That is amazing. If you like vegetables, that's awesome. But if you're doing it strictly because you feel like you need to be miserable to lose weight, that's no way. That's no way to do it. One of the stories that I tell there's a lesson, one of the lessons I absolutely love in the membership, and it's called oh gosh, no, I can't remember what it's called. Actually, it's titled "Eat What You Love," and it's basically an explanation. I wrote an article about why it's beneficial to eat what you love. And one of the stories that I tell is about this this situation that I learned about. where two women having coffee one morning. One of them's, of course, on a diet. The other one orders a cinnamon roll. They're sitting there having coffee. And the one woman asks the other one, "Hey, would you like a bite of my cinnamon roll?" And the other woman, who's a chronic dieter, "Oh, no, no, no. Once I start, I'd never be able to stop. So no, no, I'll pass on the cinnamon roll." So her friend continued to sit and eat her cinnamon roll, and they finished their coffee and talked. And that woman could not stop thinking about that cinnamon roll. And all she had offered her was a bite. And she said no, because she couldn't do it. She just couldn't let herself cross over to that. Oh my gosh, that's a non-diet food. I can't eat that. So she went home and she could not stop thinking about that cinnamon roll. So she went to the refrigerator and she's plowing through the refrigerator looking for something, because she didn't have that one bite of the cinnamon roll. She didn't allow herself to have that. And so instead, what she did was she went home and she ate 1,000 calories worth of hummus and baby carrots, hoping that at some point that would taste as good as the one bite of cinnamon roll that she had passed up. So what makes sense to you? That is what happens when we deny ourselves and we don't give ourselves that one thing that we want. We then go overboard and we try to compensate by like doing the fake stuff and the low calorie stuff. No, that's not the answer, because it's not what you really want. We have, and I know many of you are thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'd eat the whole thing." That's the part that's where the thought work comes in. And that's where the magic is. So it's a combination of these things, again, of the eating what you love, letting go of the diet mentality, but also understanding how your brain works and the thought work. All those things are so important. All right, number 4. This one is watch your language. Watch your language. I will tell you that losing weight is almost entirely, you're going to think I'm crazy, losing weight is almost entirely about how you talk to yourself. What are the words that you're saying to yourself? What are the names that you're calling yourself? What are the mean things that you're saying when you don't follow your plan? When you put on a pair of jeans and they're too tight? What are you saying to yourself? Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, "I want to overeat today," and at the end of the day feel so horrible about myself that I just want to go to bed and I don't want to see anybody. Nobody says that. Nobody wakes up and says, "This is the day that I am going to just try to eat as much as I can because I just want to feel horrible." Nobody does that. Nobody says that. People go into their days feeling like, I want to be healthy. I want to do the things I want to do. I want to feel the way I want to feel. And then the self-talk starts to kick in. And whether or not that self-talk comes from other people, the other people feed into it, you feel badly about yourself, you have an internal dialogue that has been cultivated over the course of 40, 50, 60 years, that's going to be pretty tough to break. But you know what? It absolutely can happen. And that is what we really focus on. That's what we focus on when it comes to somebody not following their meal plan. How are you talking to yourself? What are you how are you taking care of yourself? What are your affirmations? I will tell you, whoever's in the Facebook group right now, if you have had me ask you, if you're a client and you have had me ask you, "So what affirmations are you doing right now?" I know, Lisa, if you're still on this call, you know, because I just asked you. Yeah, I ask all the time, "What are your affirmations? What are you saying to yourself? How are you talking to yourself?" So if I've done that to you, please put that in the comment and say, "Yes, she's done it to me," because that is huge. Huge. I cannot even tell you, if you are not focusing on your self-talk and working on that every single day. And you know when you need to be working on your self-talk is not when things are going great, because then it's easy to do self-talk. When you need to focus on your self-talk is when you've gone ahead and you've gone off your meal, you've eaten off your meal plan, you've eaten past satisfied, you are feeling like, like, oh, I ate too much. I ate way more dessert than I needed to. I ate way too much of my meal. Now I feel horrible. That's when we need to start paying attention to, ooh, what is that self-talk that I'm saying? What am I saying to myself? Am I making my behaviors who I am as a person? And just so everybody knows, behaviors do not define who you are. Behaviors are completely separate from who you are at your core. Who you are at your core never changes. Our behaviors, they're all over the place. But who we are, that doesn't change. And that's what people need to remember. If you eat an extra cookie, you know what? That's an extra cookie. That's all it is. It's a behavior. It is not who you are as a person. So we need to remember that. We need to bring ourselves back to making sure that we are remembering those things. We're remembering those things. I have to pop over to I have to make sure I have to see who's given me up to see. Oh yes, Debbie, I knew you would. Oh, Gina Birch, of course you're here. Oh, look at all the ladies who are saying, yes, she has done that to me as well. Yes, the self-talk is huge. Self-talk is huge. And they know I ask that. That is what I ask all the time. I don't care about what you're eating. I do not care what you're eating. I care about how you talk to yourself, because that is what's going to translate. How you talk to yourself is what's really going to matter. All right. Number five. Oh, sorry. I meant to say one more thing about the self-talk. One of the things that I, again, affirmations are huge with me. It's one of the main lessons that I teach. And in the membership, I will every Monday. I know some of you didn't get them this week. They're coming. Don't worry. My little program that I send them out in is being funky with me, but they get affirmations. I do affirmations. I do intention setting Monday, and I have affirmations sent out. I give them optional affirmations that they can use. They can create their own, but I want people uplifting themselves every single day. Every day, I want you to when we have a system in the group, we have a system in the membership of how they deliver those affirmations to themselves and how they reinforce them in their own lives to make them stick, because that is what's key. Again, weight loss is about how you talk to yourself. You talk to yourself mean, and that is not, you are not going to take care of yourself. You're not going to make good choices, and you're going to soothe those feelings with food. And that's what we need to be aware of. All right. Number 5, last thing, the key thing to being successful, you must stay connected. So for anyone who's in the free group, if you're in the free group, if you're in the paid group, doesn't matter. We need to stay connected to each other. I was an emotional eater again, and I still am. I will always be an emotional eater, but there was no groups like this. I didn't have anything like this. I didn't even know. I would have been so horrified to even say anything. I'll be honest, I would have never joined a group like this, because it would have been too much. I would have had too much shame. I would have been too afraid that people would find out. And so, I decided to start one myself, but that connection, and my members know I did not want to start a group. I did not want to at all. And it was the best thing I've ever done. Best thing I've ever done, because it was amazing how many people were like, oh my God, that's me. Oh my gosh, that's me. And oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one. So if you're someone who's struggling with this and you're having a challenging time as you're working the program, stay connected. Stay connected in the group, whether it's in the free group. In the free group, we have this Wednesday podcast. I want people to come on this podcast and feel connected to other members and know that there are other people who are doing the same thing, who are working on the same things, and who are struggling in the same way that you are. I want you to stay connected with those people and really feel that camaraderie and feel that you are understood and that people hear you and they know what you're going through. That's so important. In the membership, the level of connection is brought to a different level, in a sense of, we have, coaching calls during the week that people can jump onto. There's the ability to have, much more contact with me, a course that you can, we have homework calls, we have coursework, we have all of these things that keep people connected. We have small little offshoot groups, we have, group coaching programs, we have all of these different things, and it's to keep people connected. So you need to make sure that when you are doing this, when you are struggling, and even when you're not struggling, you need to stay connected to the group, stay connected to the community, whichever community you're a part of. You need to stay making sure that you find your tribe, find your people who are there with you, who are in it with you, who will make you, who uplift and support. And that's what we do in this group. And so it's really, really important to me that when people feel like, oh, I'm not doing this right. It's like, are you coming on the podcast? Are you jumping on a coaching call in the membership? What are you doing to stay connected? Are you posting in the group? Are you asking for help? Are you telling people like, hey, I need some support? I'm seeing amazing posts by people in the big group that makes me so happy that people are new members outwardly asking questions. That's awesome. I love that. Keep doing it. Stay connected, because that will be what will carry you through when things are challenging. Anytime we're making changes, our bodies and our minds are going to fight it. This is not a linear process. It's an up and down process. And so you have to know that, you have to understand it, you have to go into it accepting that, and then just saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to ask for help when I need it. I'm going to ask for that hand. I'm going to ask for having that support when I don't know if that's what I can do. If I don't know if I can make it, that's what the group is for. That's why we're here. So it's really, really important. Those, this last one, the staying connected is just absolutely key. And I really want people to make sure that they have that and they have those connections, because that will really, really help as you move through the process, because it's not going to be just, rainbows and unicorns. As I like to say, it's not going to be that way. So those are the 5 things. Those are the 5 focus points that I really want to make sure that everyone, and again, if you're listening on the podcast and you think, this all sounds so new, it all sounds so different. Well, we are different. I will tell you that we are very different in this group. And so if you are interested in joining the Breakthrough Emotional Eating community, it's www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough. You can also just go to that magical little search bar in Facebook and just put in Breakthrough Emotional Eating, or just put in emotional eating. My group will pop up. That's for sure. So absolutely free group. Get that new member guide, the videos, the instructions, all the things you need to get started on moving through the process of managing your emotional eating and losing weight. And if you are someone who is like, you know what, I feel like I need the structure, I need the support, I need to know that this is not going to be just another diet, that it's going to be something that's going to be different, that I'm going to have that community and that backing, and I'm ready to dig deep into what's really going on with me. If that's something you're interested in, there's the Breakthrough membership. And the Breakthrough membership, if that is something that you are interested in, you can just put membership in the comments in the in not only in our live, but you also can reach out to me on Facebook as well, and make sure that you are the Breakthrough membership is absolutely something that is accessible to all people and totally affordable. And it is something that will avail you to be able to move whatever do whatever you want to do in your life, in a sense of managing your emotional eating, losing weight if you need it, and just becoming more comfortable with who you are, your relationships, your experience in life. It is not just a way for you to lose weight. It's not just a way for you to manage your emotional eating. It's a way for you to get back in touch with who you are. And that's really what I want to bring to people. So I hope that this podcast has been helpful. Again, the 5 key things that we need to focus on when it comes to working this program. So absolutely make sure that you are following these things, you're focusing on these. If you have any questions about anything, drop me a DM. Anyone who's in the group, if you're listening to the podcast, join the group. You absolutely can connect with me there. And I will answer any questions that you have. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy you all were able to be here. And let's focus on those 5 things and really, really start to see progress in our management of emotional eating. Okay. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next week.